Alright, so I need to explain some things. As you guys can see, I'm standing in front of the combine here. For all you non-farmers, this is a combine that runs in the field. It combines corn, beans, wheat, oats. The grain goes in that corn head there, or the grain head. Comes into the feeder house. Gets all separated. There's a clean grain elevator on the other side. Well, you can kind of see right here. There's a big rotor up inside of this door here. I'm not going to take the time to take it off. But there's a big rotor up in there, a bunch of concaves and screens. And does its separating thing. All the garbage gets blowed out the back, depending on if you're doing straw for wheat. You don't want the spinners on. We made sure the chains were tight on the clean grain elevator and the return, because we knew that the corn was going to be wet. So we had to make sure everything was tight, because if you don't, it's just going to be stress on stuff if you don't have it tight. Okay? So, why am I doing a video about the combine? Well, because they're making these machines with more and more technological garbage on them that I care to have on a piece of equipment. The only thing that has a computer on this farm is that John Deere 6120 of ours. And that thing is smarter than I am. Okay? Now, you guys see, that's a pretty plain combine. Pretty basic. No computer garbage in the cab, no nothing. So, it's pretty basic. No computer garbage, no moisture tester, yield monitor, all that garbage. Yes, it has a yield thingy down here, but I don't think it works. Or if it does, I've never been shown it. Don't care to. I like doing things old school. Or maybe that's a grain loss monitor. Maybe it's a grain loss monitor. I'm not exact. I like doing things old school way, with a moisture tester, and you crawl up in the bin and test your grain that way. I don't like a computer telling me that, you know what, because what a particular YouTuber is going through with his New Holland combine. Yes, this is just basically a New Holland combine. The only thing they've changed is this handle. The newer ones have a big fancy touch screen here, blah blah blah. You push a bunch of buttons, and I don't know, I still think they got all the levers and buttons and turny things here. But anywho, that display thingy is more smart than I am and a bunch of farmers. Yeah, whatever happened to doing things the old way, like 1440 series? Yeah. Not saying that this ain't a bad combine. This is pre-technology. Let's use that term. Pre-technology, meaning no fancy computer, no touch screen display, you know, computer telling me what the moisture is and everything. I'd much rather use a moisture tester. Old school, okay? I'd much rather do it old school. I don't need, because when you got electronics and a computer screen to tell me a bunch of numbers and everything, then you start to get, then there's more chances for error with wires and sensors and blah de blah de blah, and it just, yeah. Why can't we just stick to, like I said, the 2388, basic 2388, because I see guys putting in yield monitors and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know. You don't really need that stuff. I mean, no. You just get out, look behind the combine. If it's spitting grain out, you know you got problems. Make a simple adjustment. You don't need a yield monitor and all that. And let's go back to the 1440 series. I know it's a much smaller combine, but things were simpler back then. They were. And then this particular YouTuber, I won't mention no names, he's like, why do all these engineers... It's basically a software problem with his combine. The one tech or whoever was supposed to install some software didn't do that. The next guy that came out deleted the software, was on the phone with New Holland for 3 hours screwing around with software, and then the guy was like, the YouTuber was like, why are these engineers trying to make this stuff so much better when in reality it's making it a pain in the butt for us farmers? I mean, you don't need... I mean, this combine is a 30-year-old combine, okay? 99. 30-year-old. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel here by making this thing, or making, you know, bigger, better combines with more technology in them and blah, 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 blah. It just... When is it gonna stop? Why are we trying to make these things smarter than the average human being? Now, don't get me wrong, I like your 6120. Well, because I like it because it's a nice, easy to get around with chore tractor. I've seen guys put loaders on the 4020s before, but you'll cave the front end and all that in. This thing, I don't really care. Let me back up. I like how the ride is with the tires that are supposed to be on this one, and not like that 7810. I don't like how this thing has a computer in it. I don't like how it has a computer. Okay, let's get rid of the computer. It has stupid speed sensor in it that likes to go bad every once in a while, and you're screwed. You can't move it. You got to pay $18,000 to get the thing fixed. Rather say like the 4020 or 3010, or the 7810, 7800. They are all pre-computer. So why we had to put a computer in these tractors, in like your 7830s, 7920s, the bigger John Deeres? Well, why better? Why not just like a 7520, which is basically identical to a 4020 if you think about it. Same front end as a 4020, just take the narrow or take the wide front end out and put a four-wheel drive front end under it. I mean, that's basically all that a 7520 is. So I'm in the 7810, 7800 over there. The reason why I'm using this tractor as an example is because it's the newer tractor that we have. Okay, meaning newer, it's a 10 series, whereas, you know, that it's like the 7200. You take this console here, and like these 7920, 7830s, the newer ones and ours and all that, they redefined all this with First they got rid of the levers. They said no more levers. We're gonna make everything push button. I don't like that. I don't like push button. Nothing hardly. Because there's more to go wrong. There's solenoids and sensors and wires and relays and all that happy stuff that one thing goes wrong, you might as well just be calling John Deere, because you're not allowed to work on it because you got to have a computer. Yeah. That is why, you know, I like levers, you know, pull the lever back, push the lever forward, that kind of thing, you know. I mean, I'd be lost in a tractor that, you know, had push buttons and everything. You know, take these levers away and give me push buttons. Shoot, I even think in the John Deere combines, what is it? They did away with the throttle lever in it and went to push button for your engine RPMs, which, okay, but I mean, say it's cold out and you want to bump that engine up just a little bit faster than an idle, from like what's normal operating RPM, like 800 RPM, you want to bump that up to like 815. No, you can't. You only have three buttons: slow, medium, and high for your RPMs. Okay, you have to bump it up to medium, which would be like 1500 RPM, and when it's cold out, you just want to bump it up by, like, you know, 10 RPM or something. You can't do that. That's where levers come in nice and handy. Just, you know, I know there's probably some farmers out there that would like the push buttons and all that. No, not me. Maybe I'm old school, but I like to know when a function is doing something. You pull back, you can feel, you know, what you're doing. Push it down slightly, kind of feather it, whereas with a button, you can't. It's either up or down at a fast rate of speed. Okay? You can't, you can get away with that with levers. Okay? You can do that with levers. You cannot feather your hydraulics with buttons. You just can't.